Let's get into the cartoons with Johannes Leak again. Thanks for joining us again, Johannes. I want to start off with the cartoon wars. We've talked in the past about First Dog on the Moon, the cartoonist for The Guardian. And have a look at his general work here. This is the sort of cartoon he normally puts up. It's, it's drawings that, I could do, and lots and lots and lots of words. It's just a screed, usually, of sort of leftist slogans. And your friend Paul Zanetti has done this cartoon in which he rips it off and says, "First Dog takes a stand on the Guardian's black slavery roots." And he's just got the empty boxes. I love it. He's nailed it.
He's absolutely nailed it. It's that Paul's cartoon there is the cartoon equivalent of the sound of crickets or a tumbleweed sort of blowing across the screen. That's no comment right there. But I do want to just point one thing out to Paul. There's way too much white on that piece of paper and nowhere near enough black. It should have been all black squares. That's what everybody was doing that week. So it's close, but no cigar.
Yeah, it is great stuff. And it is truly a cartoon that I could have drawn. I could have drawn that one, but I didn't think of it. Brilliant stuff from Paul Zanetti. Let's have a look at your cartoon from this morning about Labor's three monkeys. And you've got Dan Andrews there, Anthony Albanese and Bill Shorten. We're fully committed to getting the branch stacking monkey off Labor's back. They're seeing no evil, speaking no evil and hearing no evil. That's an absolute ripper, Johannes.
Thanks, mate. Well, yes, it was, all week we were sort of getting these responses from them along the lines of, we had no idea this was going on.
How could they?
We might have heard about this stuff as, as a sort of abstract concept, but none of us have ever actually been, up close to it and seen it firsthand. So I couldn't resist drawing them as monkeys there. Well,
it's just extraordinary. Dan Andrews, the Premier of that state, Bill Shorten, was the federal opposition leader from that state, but they had no idea this was going on. Now, I love your cartoon. Speaking of Dan Andrews, you're one looking at the COVID-19 response, and you've got Dan Andrews looking into the bubble there where people are in a quarantine. I got it off Mum, says the little fella. Well, father gave it to me, and Dan says we warned about family get-togethers. Of course, their get-together had been at the protests, the ones that he didn't stop.
Well, that's right. I mean, we are talking about Victoria here, and all this talk about was it family gatherings or was it the BLM marches? I mean, what if they're one and the same thing for certain households?
They sure are. And now, Paul Zanetti, big night for him. This one of his on Daniel Andrews trying to tackle the virus. He's got the whacker virus came and he's ended up taking his head out a couple of times. And I want to go straight on to his Victorian colleague, Mark Knight, in the Herald Sun. Has got not the Ruby Princess, but the Victoria Princess heading into the second wave. Attention, passengers. This is your captain, Dan Andrews, speaking. Could I just get everyone locked back in their cabins? Thanks.
Exactly. Here we go again. Absolutely beautiful drawing and delving back into the news of the big news of a month or so ago when it was all Ruby Princess, but. It's a perfect analogy for what's happening in Victoria right now, it feels like.
And another brilliant cartoon from Mark Knight where he's talked about the sad passing of Vera Lynn. And, of course, she's standing up there, always says, we'll meet again, hope and optimism, we'll get through this. But she's looking around at what's going on with the coronavirus in China and statues being pulled down and violence and says perhaps she's not too sure that we will meet on the other side.
Well, that's right. I mean, Mark does these incredible sort of montages. Annually, he does these, kind of wrap-ups of the whole year. But, we're only 6 months in, and he's crammed that one full of all this drama that we've been through. And I had to put that one in. It sums things up beautifully.
It's a ripper, and it'll be all that and some bloody Victorian side winning the premiership as well. Thanks for joining us, Johannes. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, mate. Cheers.
Johannes Leak there with the cartoons of the week.